Hi, everybody. I know you're all over the country. And first of all, it's an honor and a privilege to be with you today. I love this company. I love real estate. I am so excited to share with you some strategies. The title of this really is How to Make 50 Grand at Your Next Open House. Who's interested in that? Like another 50 to 150, depending on your average sale price. So I'm going to throw up some slides here in a minute. But I would recommend if you are, I heard Jeff say this and I second it, you will have a much better event coaching experience with me if you are on camera and you are engaging with me. I'm engaging with you. If you are driving, please don't do that. But I will second the fact that everybody that I can see giving me feedback by your body language, right, Sean? I can see Caleb, Sean, Jennifer, I see Paula. So it is a much better experience whenever you can. I want you to take notes. I want you to write great ideas that you hear me say on the left side, but I want you to write action items on the right side. Is that good? So you can walk out of here today with actual ideas, strategies that you can implement right away. Does that sound good? Because nothing worse than hearing a bunch of great stuff and not implementing or executing on it. So it's all about action and taking action and putting this stuff into practice immediately. Who would like to that's cool, Ryan, thank you. And take your notes. We're recording this, I see, so there'll be a replay. And certainly you can get some info from it. How many of you would like to sell 3 to 5 houses off of every one of your listings? Okay, well, in 1996. Hi, Kate. In 1996, I had an unbelievable first month in real estate. Okay, I'm going to share that with you in a second. But my entire program was built on the first month I had in real estate. And it's a kind of a funny story. My dad said to me, "You may not sell a house for 6 months." And I was like, if I don't sell a house in 6 months, like I'm not doing this. It will be a colossal epic fail. And I said, there's no way, like I'm waiting 6 months to sell one house, okay? And what ended up happening, which was pretty amazing, and he did, he said to me, "You may not sell a house in 6 months, you might want to get another job." Self-made guy himself, started a company, didn't go to college, started a company with my mother, and they were wildly successful and sold that company 35 years later. And I got to sit at the, entrepreneurial table and hear how to do that. But nothing came easy. And it was like, you got to get another job. So I had a condo payment and a car payment and a really high shopping habit because I was 26 years old and I was single. And I was like, I am not asking Dave Johnson for money. And what happened was I had 5 sales in my first month. And the reason I'm sharing this with you is not because I'm like, look at me, I had 5 sales. No, I'm not bragging. What I'm saying is one of them came from a guy I knew since second grade. Thank you, Tim Kren. He bought a condo from me, which was great. But the other 4 all came from one listing. My first listing, not really high priced. I sold it myself at an open house. I sold it on New Year's Day, actually, ultimately. It was January of 97, and I sold it myself, 2 sales. Those people had a condo to sell. I sold that in like a week and a half. And then I picked up a buyer and took him out and showed him houses and sold him something in January. So when I tell you 4 sales came from one house, okay, who remembers this? If you've been licensed a while, you've been through multiple seasons and decades of markets, you can leverage one house into multiple sales. And so please, the first thing I want to tell you is like, stop listing and leaving. Like when you list a house, leverage that house. What I realized that month was this is how you do real estate. You list one house and you sell houses off of it. And that became literally my strategy. Okay. I literally did open houses to sell 3 to 5 houses, pick up the people, make 50 grand and do the next open. So every single open house is not just to get buyers, it's to get listing appointments. Okay. So 2 things happened that month. I had 5 sales and I was like, oh my God, how am I going to do this again? And I created this system called the Goldmine Pipeline. I'm actually going to give you that today. It will revolutionize the way you do business, the way you look at leads, the way you follow up with leads. And the second thing that happened is that I came up with this, okay, this is how you do business. Like you literally list a house and that became the strategy of my business. And then later I sold for 10 years. I was doing about 50 to 75 houses a year by myself without a team. And I think I sold 27 houses in my first year or something like that. And I knew in 1997 I wanted to have a national speaking, coaching, and consulting company. I'd been in consulting before I got into real estate, and it just was my goal. I was like, I'm going to have a national speaking, coaching, consulting company. It's pretty cool. And so I went into, I left sales. I went into leadership and management at the largest, family-owned company still to this day. You might have heard of Howard Hanna Real Estate. And I had, I managed offices, and then as Jeff said, I ran the west side of Ohio. I grew it from 500 agents to 800 agents, and actually grew the sales volume. This is kind of the fun part, from 500 million to 2 billion in like 4 years. And why is that important? Well, the same strategies I used to train and coach all of those people, the Goldmine Pipeline, make 50 grand at your next open house, all of these things later became, that's what I did to grow this company. 9 years ago, in March, it was this month, 9 years ago, I left there. I started Sherry Johnson Coaching and Consulting. And I had companies, I was the preferred coach for brands like Berkshire Hathaway for 7 or 8 years. Spoke at NAR. I was the national speaker for homes.com. I had a phenomenal run. And about a year and 3 months ago, I joined EXP because it made sense for me to, alongside my coaching company, provide an opportunity for people to leverage the platform that EXP provides. So I'm a huge fan. I'm ecstatic. I love this, and I can't believe the collaboration that we have here. It's unbelievable. And so we coach people individually. We coach teams. We coach companies, all that stuff. I built the Sherry Johnson Academy. It's pretty cool. There's about 120 courses on here that are short micro content. It's a lot of fun. There's a lot of content, a lot of information. And it's all, to me, it's all results. Like, I'm not a platitudes type person at all. In fact, I don't like platitudes. I can't stand them. And I believe that you're here to get results-oriented strategies you can implement and win. And so when I tell you this system will work, it does. And so when people say, oh, open houses don't work, I'm like, wrong. Number one, it's the GOAT. Remember, GOAT, it's the greatest of all time. It's going to change your life if you do this system with a better strategy. If you're just doing the open house to make the seller happy, yeah, you're going there. It's not fun. You don't know how to convert people. We'll get into that in a minute. But here's what's so cool. And I do have 2 podcasts. If you want to check these out, there's some great content. This is the original podcast I started 9 years ago. It's called You Rock, a real estate podcast with Sherry Johnson. 320 episodes, like how to. In fact, the sample one is, you can make 50K at your next open house. And then I have changed that to at every open house, right? We have to have a strategy, though. That podcast it's not retired, but I started a new one called The Sherry Johnson Show, and I interview people all over the country. And some of the other podcasts has some interviews as well, but this one is fire. You're going to love it. Download both of them and start listening and enjoy, because I think you're really going to love it. It all starts with a winning mindset, and that term gets thrown around a lot, but the reality of it is, right, is that if you look at open houses as a lead generator, like I'm going to show you, and change your mindset about opens, you'll have a successful open house. If you don't have a good mindset about the business, the industry, if you think your business and your success is predicated upon what's happening with interest rates, it's not, right? I mean, I've been in 3 decades and I've been successful in every one of them. Every down market was my best year, right? So you have to decide right now where your mindset is and what needs to change to make that change happen. Okay, because today you can leverage that into massive growth. So you need a 10x action plan. You need a Goldmine pipeline. You need a pipeline. I'm going to give you a QR code. You can scan that pipeline. It's totally free. And you need a lead generation strategy. The one we're talking about today is how do you leverage one house into multiple sales? Now, most of you are doing the business every day. You're stuck doing, the business and you're running around. I still sell and list actually, so I get it. And I understand that, I have a 7-figure coaching company, but over the last, since I joined EXP, I've been sort of selling some more houses and I refer a lot of business. But when you're stuck in the business only, you're not planning the 50K open house. You're not planning your pipeline. You're doing the business and you're playing defense. And so I want you to write down, get an offensive game plan and then leverage it, right? Put a plan together, track the plan, be accountable. I like the word results. That's my word for accountability is show me the results. You have to have that or you're not going to succeed anything. The greatest thing about real estate is it's flexible. The worst thing about real estate is it's flexible. Would you not agree? I'm going to do all these other things in between, and then you never get the thing done that, Sherry Johnson told you to do or that you wrote down that you were going to do. So you have to have discipline. Motivation is great, but it doesn't last, okay? Motivation's a feeling, and sometimes we feel motivated and sometimes we don't. I guarantee you that after you have a couple of deals, you're like, I'm good for a while, for a minute here. Let me relax, The fact is I'll say to an agent, they'll say, oh, I have 5 in escrow. I'm like, that's great. Where are the next 5 coming from? And they look like a deer in a headlight, right, Sean? You're like, oh, where's the next 5 deals coming from? Because you need to know where those are. And the fact is that the roller coaster ride of financial income, sell a house, don't sell a house, then sell it. That is not fun. I call that crisis selling. And so start with that mindset that says, I'm doing this no matter what. I don't need all things in real estate to be perfect for me to do well, right? It's called tenacity. It's called, I'm doing this and I will find 52 people this year to buy or sell. I will find the people. You can't go into this with a scarcity mindset. It just doesn't work. It doesn't work. And you probably have a scarcity pipeline because you've only been giving the 3 to 5 people that want to do something right now your time and attention. Who would agree? Those are the people that get your A people, get your time and attention. The B and C people, meaning the people who are 6+ months out, you're not really getting appointments with those people. And so what if you built a pipeline that you actually saw the monetized value of all of your business? Would that change? What if you wrote it all down and it was $22 million and you're used to doing 8.5? Would that be a game changer? Because it is, and it will actually catapult you into a total different level of success in business. I want you to write this down. I love to get results. And so I get into the mode of I will blank do this until this happens. So if you want listings right now, I will make as many calls as I have to, DMs, text messages, whatever lead generation I have to do to get 4 listing appointments a week, right? I'm not done until the results happen. I'm actually still working until I get the 4th listing appointment. I will until, and that's again, a mindset. People say to me, well, I made 20 calls and nobody wants to move. Okay. Well, you probably have to go make more calls. We're not done. We're not done until we get the actual result. The power of one listing is amazing. I just told you I sold 5 houses in a month. 4 of them came from one house, right? So what if every single time you listed a house and you did the open house strategy and you had a strategy to actually leverage that home and get the neighbors and become the person on the street for all the people who are going to list and sell in the coming weeks, and months? What if you had that kind of strategy? What would change? Because the truth is that you should be maximizing every sale. I'm not talking about the one-off deal you took in a market that's not where you want to get listings. I'm talking about how do you sell 3 to 5 houses from every listing? And you can and you will, but you have to actually have a plan to do that. How many of you have a listing appointment in the next 7 to 10 days? Go in the chat, raise your hand. I'm going to open the chat, which I need to do in case there are any questions. So if you have a listing appointment, put that into the chat right now. All right. Yes. 2 this week, Jennifer. That's awesome. I'm going to ask this. How many of you have a listing appointment in the next 7 to 10 days and you just don't know the address yet? Raise that hand. Yes, me. Okay. You need to say this. You need to say, I am going to list or sell a house this week. I just don't know the address. And I think what happens is we don't think like this, right? Like every person you meet in the next, every day, everywhere you go is an opportunity. And every opportunity is a good one. Okay. So when I share this like Goldmine Pipeline with you, I want you to realize that like we are literally, you have so much business in your phone, unengaged leads everywhere. If you monetize the value of the total and you said, what if all these people listed? What if they all bought? And when you write it down and you look at it, it's 2 to 3 times what you're used to selling. And I promise you, it will change your life. Okay. Write this down. What if you did one more unit a month, 12 more units this year at a price point that you want to break into? I'm not saying like you're only going to do 12 units. I mean, what if 12 of them were over $1 million? What if 12 of them were over 750? I don't know your high end, but what if you raised your average sale price on purpose with a plan, right? Could you go get 10 or 12 listings by having a proactive offensive game plan? You can. That's a strategy, and that's you putting that strategy into action. It's not saying, let's see if it happens for me. It's actually you going out and making that happen. There's a very, very big difference. I did not know that slide was next when I said that. So think about it. If you're hyper intentional and you are like, I'm doing this and I'm going to rate 12 deals, do the math on the commission difference, right? It's game changer. Okay. It takes one sale in that higher price point to leverage. So obviously you need a game plan. You need a business plan, 1, 3, 5 years, whatever. You need to work backwards. You need to think really big. You need to write down some huge goals. I want you to write down like crazy goals. Nobody gets excited, by the way, about average, right? I'd rather you shoot for the moon and land on some stars than shoot for the flagpole outside and hit the flagpole. What do I mean by that? Well, I'd rather you say, Sherry, I have to make this to live or to hit all the responsibilities of my family, primary income earner, secondary but required income earner. I don't know your situation, but think about this. If you wrote these 3 numbers down right now on your pad of paper and you said, I have to make this, or maybe this is what you made last year and you never want to go beyond that, go below that again, right? That could be your situation. I don't know. It's a personal thing. But great would be like your next level goal, maybe the goal you had before you met me. And then amazing or awesome would be that sky's the limit number. I want you to write those things down. And I want you to think like, what if, how many houses, what does it take? Work backwards. We just work backwards. This is what I make per deal. And I need X number of houses to hit that number. It's very eye-opening. And then you do this and you put it all on what I call this pipeline system, okay? And this slide snuck up on me. I want you to realize something. When you sell a house, 2 to 3 more houses in that neighborhood are going to go on the market in the next like 3 to 12 months, okay? But there's a lag time, and you miss those opportunities because you are only focused on the house you just sold, right? So when you go back to some of your houses that you just sold and microfarm that neighborhood, get to know the neighbors, tell them you sold the house, introduce yourself, do a neighborhood open house preview when you get your new listing. When people do open house, they're like, oh, I had nosy neighbors. I'm like, guys, those are future clients and those are referral sources. Actually, okay? We actually teach in our coaching to do a neighborhood open house preview for your new listing to launch it on purpose. The neighbors love it. They think it's like special. They just got, they got to hear about it beforehand. So we do the sales conversion process, and all sales has a sales process. And your job is to add value and to convert people along the way, okay? Your job is actually to convert the people along the way. And I think what ends up happening is when we do an open house, we don't add enough value and the people leave, right? Or we don't get their name, we don't get their number. And what you need to know is that the sooner you book an appointment with these people, the better. You don't have to wait after the open house to follow up with people. Somebody told me last week, you'd love this, Jeff. They said, well, I have a system that will follow up with the people on Wednesday and Thursday. And I'm like, that's like too late, right? Like, why wouldn't we get the appointment when we're standing in front of them at the open house? And the reason is you don't know what to say, okay? That's what happens, okay? And I see that you had, yeah, I see, Lydia. I would probably say don't do food all the time, but we'll talk about that in a minute. The sales conversion process says get an appointment with the B or C people, those people that are 6+ months out, because 82% of the time that seller is going to list with the first person that came to the house, right? You want to write that down. 82% of the time you're going to get the listing. Have you ever not followed up with somebody because they said they weren't serious, only to see the sign in the yard they listed, or worse off, you saw it in the MLS? Anybody have that happen? It's like the worst. I just hit you in the stomach with a baseball bat. I'm sorry. Not sorry. I want to hit you because here's the deal. Opportunities aren't lost. They go to someone else. So when you don't talk to that person at the open house and get an appointment with them, they're going to buy or sell eventually. Stop throwing these good leads out the door, I guess is my point, okay? Scan this QR code. I'll show it to you again at the end. This is going to give you my secret to predictable, consistent monthly income. You will literally thank me, okay? This system doubled my business 2 or 3 times. I've scaled my coaching business the same way. I've taught agents to go from 3 million to 10 million in a year, from 30 million to 80 million in a year. Team leaders love this because you have no idea what's on your team's pipeline until you do this exercise with your team. So want to take your business double, triple? This is how we do it. And so I'll show this again in a few minutes. And really, you know, I can't do a presentation without talking about the pipeline. So we're going to fix that roller coaster ride. If you feel like you're on that roller coaster ride of selling a house, not selling a house, and starting over, this pipeline system will fix it. And in a nutshell, and then I'm going to jump into the open house strategy, but in a nutshell, the pipeline is going to do this, right? I'll come back to that slide. You're going to list every single opportunity separately. You're going to put listings on page 1 and put an assigned value, okay? Yes, I'll put the link in the chat. When you do that, okay, or somebody, if somebody can, if you have the ability, when you do this exercise and you separate, instead of your whiteboard, I love a good whiteboard, by the way. I love whiteboards. But your whiteboard is not going to monetize the value like I'm showing you, okay? And here's what happens when you put every name on here. So Mike and Lisa are going to buy a house with me. They're going to list their house with me, okay? Or with you. They would go on this twice. One says a listing opportunity and one says a buying opportunity, okay? We're separating. We're not commingling both sales. We're going to separate them out on purpose. Each sale needs to be accounted for as a potential sale and an opportunity. I don't want you discounting people and saying, oh, I don't know if I'm getting this. Put it on the list. The whole idea is to fill it with every possible opportunity. I sat in my condo and I wrote down every single person who might buy, who might sell. Maybe they have 3 properties. They're each selling a house. That would be 2 listing opportunities, and they're going to buy together, okay? Mike and Lisa each have a house. Second marriage, they're getting married. They want to buy a house together. That would be 2 listing opportunities and 1 buy, okay? We have to do this because we map it out. When you do this, you are going to feel like the rock star that I already know you are. You just didn't know it. Let me ask you this way. Today is March 31st. Wouldn't you love to know that in June you're going to have 2 listings and 2 sales? Fast forward, in August, September, you're going to have 4 listings and 5 sales. Let's take us all the way into November. And with certainty, you know, because you can actually now predict what's coming, because everybody eventually buys and everybody eventually sells. The problem is that we have coaches. Sorry, I get a little passionate about this, but we have coaches out there saying when someone ghosts you the 3rd time, dump them and start over with someone new. So if you're doing that, I'm going to suggest that you not do that. It takes 5 contacts, actually, 5 contacts, to turn somebody and convert them. I'm going to show you how to do it in one contact, but let's not give up. Ghosting is part of the process, everybody. Ghosting is not, I'm never doing this. It's just not right now. And so I've had people like their faces get red, and I'm like, what's wrong? They're like, well, my coach told me to dump these. And they're counting up all the commissions they gave up. Okay. Everyone goes on this, whether they're 2 months or 2 years out. Okay. Take your average sale price on your notepad right now and every one of us could come up with 10 people who are going to list their house between now and 2 years from now. Now, notice I didn't say in the next 2 months. I said now and 2 years from now, right? If your average sale price is 600, I'm at $6 million. Just like that, 6 million in a listing sides only. Now, all those people, most of the time, 80% of the time, they're going to buy a replacement house for you. That's another 10 transactions, same people, same 600 average. I'm suddenly at a $12 million pipeline. Is everybody with me? Now, I just need you to go put the names of the people on this worksheet now, okay? Go through your open house registration lists. Go through your phone. I just did a Goldmine Pipeline challenge last week for 3 days. It's 2 hours a day. I'm going to give you April's dates at the end of this. People had $30 million on their pipeline. Last year, they did 7. Okay? They were going through their phone, and they're like, I have $13 million just from the people I haven't contacted from my phone, from open houses. Okay? So the Alaskan pipeline goes on forever. So does your pipeline. You have this pipeline is your lifeline of income, right? I call it playing the long game. When you play the long game with people, Caleb, it's so great to meet you. I'm so excited we're going to be working together. I work at your pace and your speed, right? I work at your pace and your speed, whether it's 2 weeks, 2 months, or 2 years. I'm not going anywhere. I build relationships, trust, and confidence, and I want to earn your business and that of all of your friends, family members, neighbors, everybody. Right? Let's stop discounting the lead. You can build whatever you want. The Goldmine Pipeline, it doesn't matter what experience level you are. It does not matter what income or production level you're at right now. It is amazing. It's 4 pages. Listings go on one side. Buyers go on the other. Please add it up. That's the best part. Add it up. And then at the end of this, you can book a call with me and we'll go over your pipeline. But I'm telling you right now, this is life-changing. It's the single best strategy I've ever come up with. And everybody, literally thousands of people have benefited from, less stress. Number 1, work-life balance, scale your business, have predictable income. It's really great. Okay. So I'm not going to go through all of that, but what I want to tell you is that you have more business than you realize. I promise you, you probably have another 10 or $15 million sitting in your phone, sitting in your CRM, sitting in notebooks. I hear this all the time. I have all these leads, Sherry. I would have missed all of them. So I want you to do the Goldmine Pipeline. It'll change your life, just saying. And it's totally free. You can take it and run with it. It's awesome. And, obviously you do better if you have like accountability and coaching and all that, but you can do this right now with the pipeline. I just gave it to you. We'll put it in. It's in the chat. And I'll show you the screen again with the QR code. Now, when you make 50 grand at your next open house, I want you to think about this. What if your open house was the most profitable 2 to 3 hours of your week? Your whole week, you do an open house and you come out of there with 6 potential. I just had a client in Virginia come out of an open house for $465. He picked up 7 people, 7 new clients. And I said, wow, Cordell, you're going to sell all their houses too? And he said, yes, ma'am, I am. He said, I didn't even figure that. Okay. It was like $6 million. It was crazy. Okay. 14 potential transactions. We're not doing an open house just to make the seller happy, thinking that these are the only 2 hours I'm in your house trying to sell it. You're not there to pick up buyers, okay? You're there to pick up listings. Let's be honest. I want you to pick up listings at this thing. I actually want you to strategically do the open house at a move-up neighborhood. It only works if you do it at a move-up neighborhood. If you do this at a first-time buyer house, you're only going to get first-time buyers. Does that make sense? And so when you do this strategically and you hold it at a move-up neighborhood, move-up price point, the people coming in have a house to sell. And now you get two sales, right? They're going to list with you or they're going to buy with you. To me, it is the greatest of all time open house. The open house is literally the greatest lead generator of all time. Most agents don't know how to do it properly, which is why they don't like them. And then someone in your office said they don't work. And so you thought, well, they don't work, so I'm not going to do it. And again, I'm going to tell you paint the picture. You do an open house and the people come in, and is it hard sometimes to get their name? I mean, sometimes it is, right? People don't, like Caleb's saying, no, he knows how to get their names. But like a lot of people say, well, I can't get their name. Well, if someone doesn't give you their name, you got to ask better questions. Like you have to say, I'm Sherry Johnson at EXP. And they go, hi. Now I have a choice. I can either like do nothing and think this is another stupid open house that I'm doing because these people aren't going to sign in now, or I can say, what's your name? People don't want to sign in. Well, we're going to cover that too. But the open house itself is going to be successful to get you listing appointments. The person who walks in and doesn't want to give me their name. I remember this woman, she said, she didn't give me her name. And I said, you are? And she like whisper yelled, Kathy. Like kind of nasty. Did you ever have that person? They're just like not happy. And, I'm going to show you the slide. When you look at body language, okay, and you can understand people's reactions, and 55% of communications body language, you're going in to shake their hand at the front door. They're going back into the door or the glass transom. They're trying to take their shoes off, right? And here we are trying to add value. I cannot add value in the first 15 seconds of meeting somebody at the front door. Not going to happen. I have to slow that down and like let them ease into it and come in and then realize I'm going to be their new best friend. Okay. So again, you got to choose the right property. We're going to get to that slide where, I hate to say this, but 75% of open house attendees do not get followed up on, which is great for you if you're going to be maximizing opportunities now, right? I mean, think about that. It's insane. I loved this stat as an agent. I could not stand this stat when I was running a brokerage. What are you going to do differently? Now, I just started to tell you this. So 55% of body language is body language when communication. If you can read people, everything speaks. How you speak, how your body language. Are you shaking hands with confidence? Are you looking at people or looking at your phone? Are you speaking with enthusiasm and energy, right? Or are you Debbie Downer? I say, are you magnetic or are you a repellent? I did just say that. Are you attracting people? Right? 38% is tone of voice. Literally 93% is not even spoken word yet. Like the word. So we got to be saying good words. Like when someone doesn't sign in, I do this. I say, like Kathy. By the way, Kathy wouldn't give me her name. I got her to say Kathy. And then I said, I didn't get your last name. And to which she said, that's because I didn't give it to you. And I was like, no, you didn't, actually. You're right. What is your last name? So she gave it to me. I was like, let's go, Kathy. McDonald. So we go in and I say, and here's how you get someone to sign in who won't sign in, okay? Using words on purpose. It's very important that you choose words that help elicit a different behavior from someone. I'm not being manipulative. I'm just saying these words are better. For example, obviously, I'm going to need your information. You're in someone else's house, right? Versus, and please don't say for security purposes. What do they feel when you say that? Red lights, weird, don't feel good, right? So I look at the person and I could tell from their body language that they still don't want to sign in. And so here's how I minimize and marginalize the sign-in process, which is, I call that M&M. It's like a really cute little minimize and marginalize. Never people, but situations and topics, right? Things that we focus on get bigger. The sign-in sheet's getting weirder because we don't know what to say. So I just shoot that whole thing down and I say, listen, Kathy, don't worry. I'm not going to call you if you don't want to be called. I don't like when people do that to me. And people immediately change to, oh, okay, no problem. right? Another little pro tip, change the word cell phone or mobile on your sign in sheet. Hopefully, you're using a digital system or a landing page, but change the wording from cell or mobile to text. People like, I mean, they'll give you their, they don't, it's less invasive feeling. Okay. Now, my job at this point is to say, let's go look at the house. We go walk around the house. We are in, I'm showing the house. I'm also, and you're probably going, what if you have more than two people in the house? I get it. Let's assume I have one person at the moment, and then you can adjust as people are coming in multiples, right? But let's just say I have one person. I'm taking Kathy through the house. I'm going to say good things like questions like, where do you live? How long have you been there? Have you done improvements? Will you be selling your current home or keeping it? Now, no one ever keeps their current home, but I say that because I hear them say, and they hear themselves say, no, we're going to be selling it. And I say, great, you're going to be selling your house. And they say, yes. And I say, great. We're going to talk about that when we get back downstairs, right? And so you're weaving in really good questions, you're weaving in value added service. Now, what happens next is when I get downstairs, I'm going to show you exactly how to get Kathy, who didn't want to talk to me, excited about me coming over to see her house. Okay. So these are the scripts that work. I'm going to go through each one of them. These say four, they're actually like five or six, but here's what's going to happen. Oh, it's in your best financial interest, which is a phenomenal phrase. It's might as well be the title of my book. But Caleb, you can say in your best financial interest as a statement, as a question, at a listing appointment. Hey, it's in your best financial interest to choose me to sell your house. Here's why. Radically differentiating value, point one, radically differentiating point two, three, and four. And so I say it as a statement, and sometimes I say it as a moment for pausing. You know, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, I'm not sure this is going to be in your best financial interest to not make a counteroffer here, right? It took us 42 showings and X number of days on the market, and we have one offer. So we need to work with this one. Remember, we said we were going to work with all offers. So in your best financial interest is what that means. And it's a fabulous phrase, and it really puts the brakes on everything. And I say to people, I say, Mike, you don't need to tell me your financial situation at all. That's not what I'm asking. What I need you to do, though, is like pause for a minute and ask yourself, is this decision going to be in your best financial interest? Because usually we know it's not, right? That people are being unreasonable and they need to hit the pause button. So that's what that is. And I do know that, enthusiasm wins every time. My dad taught me when you add value, people hire you. And then he said to me, when you add more value than your competitors, you can charge more. And it's true. So if you're not getting 3%, like please put that on an action item to the right, please. I just had a new client join us in coaching, and she's like, every listing now, she's sending me a picture. She got 3%. She's like, this is life-changing. I said, well, you get stuck in this is what we have to do in my market, Sherry. And I'm going to challenge you on that because you can outmarket and outvalue. Really, it's outvalue every person that you compete with. I do it every day, right? By what we do. Like I deliver value and I tell people that I do. So when I tell Kathy, upstairs, Kathy, you mentioned that you've lived in your home for 12 years. And I know that neighborhood very well. And, I know you also said that you were thinking about waiting for about 6 to 9 months before you wanted to sell. I help sellers on the front end, and I add immense and massive value to the process at the front end of the process, meaning I can save you time and money by coming over and seeing your house now and getting the process started. For example, before you call a contractor or before you go to Home Depot and try to do this yourself, you need to share with me what you think you need to do to bring your house up to date, to get it show ready, to stage it, right? I help sellers. I save them time and money, thousands of dollars. I also know what the highest ROI is going to be to bring you a faster sale. So that slate floor in the back hall that you're thinking you need to rip out. And she's like, how do you know I have a slate floor? Right? And I'm like, because I sell houses over there. I sell a lot of houses. The slate floor in the back, buyers love slate today. We're going to leave that. And I'm going to have you actually put that money somewhere else to better use in your house. Or better yet, keep it in your pocket. right? Value point number one. I add value to the process at the front end. That's how you say it. You should actually tell people that you add value. You need me now. Here's the line. I work with sellers. I work with seller clients for weeks or months before we put a sign in the yard, and I could do the same thing for you. Okay, that's the first one. Secondly, I just took down all your search parameters to go buy you a house, to help you find a house. It really adds value for me to see my client's current home, right? And when I come and see your house, I see the room dimensions, the room sizes, the colors, the things you love, the things you don't like, the things you can't live without. And so when I'm out looking at houses between now and the time you're ready, when I'm out looking for houses between now and the time you're ready, I can call you and say, Kathy, I'm in your house. I'm actually in the house. They have that thing in the laundry room you love. They have that thing in the primary suite bathroom that you have to have, right? So it adds value for me to come and see your home. Second reason I want to come and see your house this week. And the third reason that I want to come and see your house, Kathy and Mark, is that between now and the time I actually put a sign in your yard, I may have a buyer. In fact, I have lots of buyers for your neighborhood all the time. I have a few right now, but I may have a buyer that would buy your home. And if I've already been in it 2 months from now, 3 months from now, and I'm working with a buyer that your home is perfect for, right? We can get your home sold. Obviously, I'd have to find you another home. The dates would all have to work. The price would have to work. But wouldn't it be great if we could have your home sold even before we had to go to market? And everybody always says yes. You know, for the right price and terms, everybody always says yes. And those are the three things that I say that I want you to say. And I recap it. I say, Kathy, so again, I want to come over, save you time and money on the home repair list, probably my biggest value. Secondly, I want to see your house. I'm out looking for houses. Helps me to see your current home and see my client's current home, which by the way, buyers are like, I've bought and sold 9 times. No one has ever told me they want to come and see my current house. Like they say to me, that's brilliant. Now I'm just trying to get myself in their house, right? For an appointment. But it works because I'm going to cement the relationship, right? So I say these 3 things, and I say again at the end, and then lastly, I may have a buyer between now and the time we put the sign in your yard, which by the way, is that a presumptive close technique right there? I'm listing this house. I have the sign going in their yard already, right? So my camera's stalling, sorry. But here's what happens. At the end of this whole thing, you get a nod, you get an acknowledgement, and what you say is, great. Here's how you tie this appointment down, everybody, because this is gold or fire or however you want to say it. You say, great, Kathy, what's better for you, Thursday at 5 or Saturday at 10? Because I'm coming. Okay, this isn't if, it's when. When you say to somebody, when can I come and see your house? The answer is never. Okay, they are like, I have this, I have that, right? We want to tie it down. I call it the 2-option tie down. It works. It's fabulous. People text and call me all the time. This thing gets me appointments. The 2-option tie down, which is what's better for you, Thursday at 5 or Saturday at 10. Because you're giving them 2 options, right? Now, even those days and times are strategic. I mean, we're like hyper strategic here. A weekday evening and a weekend morning. Do you follow me? So that's even like being hyper strategic because one of these combinations is going to work. Okay. Thanks, Ryan. So think about it. I work at your pace and your speed. I tell people, some of my clients have to buy a house right now. Obviously, their house is sold, they're coming here from out of state, or their lease is up, and I need to show them houses every week. They're buying a house right now. It's immediate. Other clients of mine are in a home they don't need to sell right away. They want the right house, and I show them houses once a month. Where do you fall in that spectrum? How can I help you, right? And you're going to qualify these people, and you're going to have a great start to a phenomenal relationship with these people. I say, I don't care whether this takes 2 weeks, 2 months, or 2 years. I work at your pace and your speed. And well, I want this advance. And so what's great is when you do this open house and you ask for the appointment right then when you're in front of them, please do not wait till tomorrow or Monday or Tuesday. Your success rate is going to shoot through the roof. You'll have a 90% success rate if you follow the script. Promise you, okay? I go to the house. And by the way, here's what you have to say like 5 times. I'm not coming to list your house, just for to be clear. I know that. Like I'm not don't think I'm coming thinking I'm listing. I'm not coming to list your house. We're gonna start the process. We're gonna get a lot of things done between now and 6 months from now, right? When you say I do this for other sellers all the time, it'll get you the appointment. Every single person last week said, I got the appointment because I said I'm not coming to list your house. Now you go to the house, you get a tour, you ask good questions, you cement the relationship. They're taking you through their private home, closets, bathrooms. I mean, this is personal. You sit down at the kitchen table, which, by the way, the best closing line I have. I haven't even talked about pricing strategy. I haven't even talked about service fee, which is commission. And you should say, and this is the best closing line at a listing appointment is, you know what, Kathy, I'm going to need a key to the front door. Kathy goes straight to the junk drawer and gets the key and brings it over and literally puts it right in front of you while you're talking about something else. Who's going to use that line? It is the best, by the way. I'm going to need a key. That's how it goes. I promise you, you know you're getting that listing. Now, here's what happens. The dog that doesn't like anybody loves you, right? People are like, oh, this is crazy. Buster doesn't like anybody. He sure likes you. And you're like, dog loves me. Everybody loves me. List your house with me. You know, like it's your bonding, okay? Drinking a Diet Coke or a tea or whatever. You are getting this listing. Not today, in 3 to 5 months. So get the appointment at the open house, please. We did a call day. We did a call day at my office, and all these agents came up to me. Oh, yeah, I like that idea. Dog treats in your pocket. Yes, take them with you. Love it. People bring dog packages on listing appointments, like a dog listing agreement or a kid listing agreement. But, you know, this woman came up to me and she goes, I can't believe you're making me do these calls. And I said, what are you talking about? And she goes, well, she goes, okay, fine. So she, you know, begrudgingly goes back to her office. I said, get a glass of wine, grab some cheese, crackers, whatever, go make some phone calls, make some money. So half hour later, she comes back up to my office, you guys, and she is dancing and laughing and singing and all excited. And she's like, I got a listing appointment. And I said, awesome. Where is it? And she said, it is on Georgia Lane. I said, oh, Savannah Estates. That's a nice listing, 400 plus, right? She said, yeah, at least. And I said, where did it come from? And she said, well, you're going to be mad at me. I said, no, I'm not. Where did it come from? And she said, it came from an open house. And the guy was mad at me because he hadn't heard from me for the last 2 weeks. I mean, think about this, okay? 2 weeks. 2 weeks. I said, Rosemary, you could have got that appointment while you were standing in the house. The way it sounds. This guy was so ready. She goes, yeah, your scripts are going through my head. I was like, so think about this, okay? The purpose of the open house is to walk out of there high-fiving yourself that you just picked up, 4 to 5 new clients. Add value, ask good questions, get hired, like book the appointment, okay? And again, I tell people over and over, I'm not coming to list your house because I'm not, right? We all know what to do with people who know what they're doing. Those are easy. They call us up, right, Jeff, and they say, hey, I'm ready to list. Can you come? And we grab our stuff and we go. All right? Those are easy. The people you lose are the ones that are sort of like, I don't know when they want to sell. They're not ready. They're not a good lead. They're not a good lead. They're not a good lead. All these coaches told you, dump the people that ghost you. Please. I followed up with an open house lead for literally 11 months. My first year. And so in November, I called these people. Sherry Johnson. I sent you some listings. Sherry Johnson. Hey, it's Sherry. I even would say things like, if your plans have changed and you want me to stop calling you, let me know. And then I said, I'll probably still call you anyway. And I laughed because that's like my personality, right? So, and then I said, no joke, I said, I don't even know if you're getting this. And then I was like, oh my God, just hang up. So they called me finally. 11 months of total ghosting. And on the 11th month, they said, hey, you're the only person who followed up with us. You're the only person. Would you come and let's try? We know 12 real estate agents from our Taekwondo business, but we want to work with you because you obviously follow up. And we want a listing agent who's going to follow up on every lead. That's why I got this business. So please put the pipeline in effect and then do this 50K. The fortune is in the follow up. It's one of my slides. I skipped over that slide, but it says the fortune is in the follow up. Listen to me. Okay. It takes 5 contacts. And, the people who stick with it, like I would rather you fill that pipeline, right? I would rather you fill the pipeline and work instead of 350 calls a week. Like, think about this. Instead of 350 calls a week, I would rather you nurture 60 leads on your pipeline. That's a lot easier. Don't you think? I mean, it really is. 80% of the sales happen literally after 5 contacts, and we're giving up. We're actually giving up on the first one. Look at those numbers. They're horrible. First of all, I didn't mention that you need to have a home buyer guide. If you provide a valuable takeaway, the home buyer guide is a great listing appointment tool. So when I'm at the front and I'm monitoring the door and people are coming and there are a lot of people, first of all, sometimes you have to have like a secondary person with you if you want, if you have a partner or someone that you can do this with. I do say to people as fast as I can, all of this, right? I can come to your house. Like, you might only get the first thing about I add value at the front end of the process. It is, it can be a little bit challenging, but what I say to people is don't leave before we talk. I have something to give you. Don't leave before we talk. I want to, talk to you about some things I can help you with. So it's really like you have to ask questions quickly and know who's maybe more like it might be better to spend time with someone who's a better lead because they're engaging with you than someone who's like just walking through the house and they leave, right? But everyone has to sign in. My recommendation is if you put it on an iPad, if you put it on your phone, if you have a digital card, you can put the link to your digital card. I think that's huge. If you have a MacBook or some kind of laptop, you should have some props, and people are going to go over and sign in, and they're signing into your hopefully bold trail, lofty, or close, and that contact just goes straight into your database and you don't have to enter it twice. So, but if you have people coming in droves, I want you to say to them, like, I have something to give you. And I take the home buyer guide and I hold it, and I hold a couple, and they're like, what's that? And I'm like, oh, it's my exclusive home buyer guide. I give it to everybody. Do you want a copy? Like, and it's almost like they want what you're holding. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's its own magnetic thing. So you can take that. What you're trying to do is give them immense value. And if you say to a group of people, like sometimes I've told the whole room, hey, everybody, before you start looking at the house, like stop before you leave because I want to book an appointment with you. I can add a lot of value to the buying process or the selling process and save you time and money. So I say it like it's a room of people, like I'm not getting up on the staircase to say it, but I say it loud enough so that everyone is like, oh, she just said that. Right. And then I say, did you sign in? Did you book here? Book a call with me. And I give them my phone and they're booking, or I say to them, I can come see your house after this open house today, which by the way, I didn't say this, but like, you know how many people I've helped? Like when you're at the open house, book the last hour to show houses. Like don't book a family event right after open house if you can. Be available for another hour and a half and say, you know what, Jennifer, I can show you houses at 4:15. And I know, there are 3 vacant houses, you can get them in, right? I want to solidify and start that relationship. And you know how many agents end up selling a house that week because they showed houses right from the open house? Or, oh, Caleb, I can come and see your house this afternoon and do a quick walkthrough and tell you the price of your home. Let me give you a price. Let me give you a benchmark price opinion in today's market to that neighbor who's thinking about moving in a year or 2 or 3. I want those people to go on my Goldmine Pipeline, right? So imagine if everybody materialized, you wouldn't discount all those leads. You'd be like, oh my God, all those leads were good. Yes, there's no such thing as a bad lead, please. Okay, put everybody on your list. If you want, take a picture of page 4 and text it to me, send it to me. I'll put that in the chat. I promise you, if you say like, oh my gosh, but they're not good leads. Listen, everybody, I've been doing this 30 years. Somebody on the Goldmine Pipeline last week said, I wish I never bought leads. I should have been paying for coaching, or I should have been taking my sphere out to dinner with that money. Okay. Because I would have gotten more business from my own sphere. So, like, yes, some people have teams and they maximize leads and they're good at it and it makes sense. Okay. But my entire coaching career, my business, my own personal, I don't have a program in the Sherry Johnson Academy that says go buy leads, right? What it says is add massive value, communicate, be proactive, be disciplined, and it'll happen. People always say, do you ask if people are working with an agent? Here's the line of all lines for the day. Okay. What I tell people is, oh, by the way, if they, and I might say, are you working with an agent? And then they always say yes. And you say, well, how active? Like, do you go out every week? How long have you been working with the person? Are they full time? Are they local? You find out, it's like their sister's brother's their mom's sister's brother's cousin's nephew that you have to use because they're in the family. And what you need to say is, oh, wow, they're not local, are they? Like, I'm not going to bash anybody, but I could ask questions that basically discredit the fact that you're using someone who lives 45 minutes away. Here's what I say to everybody. I have access to homes that are not yet on the market. I actually have a unique and exclusive marketing system where I will actually find you a home that's not yet listed. I do it all the time. And then you're like, how do I do that? Well, come to my Goldmine Pipeline Challenge in April and I'll show you, or just book a call with me. Here's the thing. You can ask, and if they are working with someone and you know that person, you say, great, I love that agent. They're awesome. If they're not, you say, where are those people? Is this someone you relate? So I'll usually say, like, how did you end up with this person? And that's when they say, it's my sister's brother's cousin's uncle, whatever. And I say, oh, and they make a face like it's his mother's sister. And then I say, would it be okay if, like, I gave that person a referral? And then you could work with an area expert and someone who has access to homes that are going to hit the market before they're going to know about it because they're 45 minutes away. And it usually solves the problem, and then you pay a referral fee, but heck, I would pay a referral fee. Who's in charge of that referral fee right now? I mean, I kind of am because they want to work with me, right?
Very good.
They want to work with you. Obviously, I'm going to call that sister's brother's cousin and say, hi, I'm Sherry Johnson. I'm working with these people. They mentioned that you might be interested in just getting a referral fee from me. Is that something you would consider? And they're like, yeah, I want 50%. And I'm like, you didn't actually call me for this, but I'd be happy to give you 25. And they say, okay. And you say, great, let's do it. And then they're like, thank you, because I have a full-time job and I can't do this anyway. Like, we all just have to ask more questions because I think we tend to take what people say for face value when there's so much more behind why they're saying what they're saying. So when someone says, what's the lot line? And you say, I don't know. What you should say is, I wouldn't know. It's not my listing. Or if you're showing a house, like, pivot and say, you know what? I'm going to start a list of questions on all things, the age of the roof, the mechanicals, and I'm going to find out the lot line as well. All of a sudden, I'm turning that I don't know something into I'm a resource and a problem solver now. And that builds intentional confidence with people. And they're going to be like, oh, you're the best. By the way, you can be incredibly assertive and not be obnoxious.
Out here on the grind, chasing dreams in the sun, from the Gulf to